I still can't even believe it. I've been staring at this thing since I've built it. I finally get to share it with everyone. I hope you enjoy my updated, complete manga collection video for 2022. What? Wait, don't call me out like that. Listen, I know I can't be the only one that stares at my collection. Let me know down below in the comments section, but I just built this thing. I can't stop staring at it, but yeah, let's continue on with... I can't believe you called me out. Okay, so this one might be my favorite part of the shelf, at least for right now. Well, actually... I have a lot of favorite parts to my shelf. This is my One Piece little moment here on the shelf, and you can go ahead and get closer. What you're looking at are the first two One Piece box sets. Now, I wish that I could fit all 4 box sets that I currently own, and if you look up above here, I do have all 4, so it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. The reason why this is here specifically, and it was sort of a unique solution for the problem that I have, was I just didn't have enough manga to fill all of my shelves, but eventually, once I do a few hauls down the road, this will go in a different part of the house on a rotating display, but this looks nice. I thought it looked absolutely incredible, especially with the light sort of draping down on the Thousand Sunny, and it gets a little reflection here, especially at night, and you will see some footage at night because this whole collection really does pop. But I wish I could fit all 4 of the box sets like I said a moment ago, but this just, it looks so good. I couldn't not have an opportunity to put all of the One Piece here on one shelf, or at least 2 of the box sets, and these single volumes look absolutely amazing. In fact, I'm getting ready to start my reread of One Piece from volume 1 physically, probably at the end of summer. I don't know, but this is my little One Piece moment. We can quickly move on, but I love it. So here we go. Before we talk about Vinland Saga for a second, believe me, I could talk about Vinland Saga all day. We need to talk about this lighting situation because I think it totally brings together all 3 of these shelves. I did love my previous setup, but one thing that I always got a comment on was it kept burning through a lot of batteries. So I kept getting comments like, hey Boogie, why don't you use rechargeable batteries? So while I was putting together and buying supplies for this whole shelving setup, I wanted to make sure that these lights were not only rechargeable, so these are USB rechargeable, but I could also change the color temperature. And where are the buttons? I think they're right over here. I could change the color temperature of the light, so it can go from cool all the way to this warm sort of tone. And to me, when I have them on the warm tone, it sort of feels like, you know, like the Animal Crossing museum. It sort of feels like the Animal Crossing museum, and I absolutely love that. Now, I have gotten some questions in the past of, do these lights stain the books? And I had lights on my entire setup last time, and there was absolutely no staining on any of my books. So take that with a grain of salt. This is just what I've been experiencing. I haven't experienced any staining from any of my lights previously, so I'm hoping that that trend will continue with this bookshelf. But come on a little bit closer here. We're going to talk about Vinland Saga, and this is by far one of my favorite series to talk about because this is a masterclass in character development. In fact, there's one thing that I've said for a very long time is that if you've watched The Last Kingdom, I believe that's what it's called on Netflix, you're probably really going to like Vinland Saga. Now, there's a reason why you see Vinland Saga in a lot of collections, okay? Not only does it look iconic, the story itself is iconic. Of course, it's Makoto Yukimura, absolute legend. Also did Planet Test, which is also in my collection over there. But this is by far one of my first series that I ever did a proper binge read with. Absolutely incredible. Like I mentioned before, a masterclass in character development, but it's just a grand adventure. A little bit different than a grand adventure sort of like One Piece. This is a little different, a little darker at times, very mature. This isn't a shonen. This is definitely a seinen. Right now, currently, I have all of them. You can go ahead and get closer here. I have all of them, all 12 volumes that are out physically in English. I did wish I had paperback editions, but these hardcovers just look so nice. Okay, so like I was mentioning before, this is the men who created Gundam, and this is put up by Denpa. You can come out and check this over. You can come over here and check this out. Now, the thing about Denpa is I've been wanting to pick up more titles by them because they're actually putting out one of my favorite titles that I didn't think we'd get an English release early next year, which is March Comes in Like a Lion. But we're not here to talk about that series. I actually have a full video on that in my channel. I'll link it down below. I highly recommend you guys pick it up when it comes out in physical, put out by Denpa. But this is the men who created Gundam, and it's about, well, the men who created Gundam. Now, I haven't read all of this. It's a chunky boy. It's a one and done, but I can't wait to read this as I'm getting more and more into Gunpla. In fact, you'll probably see some shelves later on in the year after I put together a few Gunpla. But for right now, I did pick this up. I think it's a good thing to have in someone's collection. Not only does it just look iconic, but it's a good story. And I have flipped through this book. Really, really good art in this manga, okay? So enough about that. Let's move on to one of my favorite series. Of course, the classic Naoki Urasawa title, Monster. The manga of Monster, or the series of Monster, put out by Naoki Urasawa, is what I like to call a slow burn series. Like, you know those series where it takes a while to get going, but you're definitely going to want to see it through once it gets going? That's almost like a perfect definition of Monster. So if you're looking for a seinen mystery action thriller that actually keeps you on your toes the entire time with some decent plot twists that caught me off guard, I highly recommend the manga. Now, you might have trouble finding all 9 volumes. They're not out of print, but some of them might be out of stock, so with a little bit of patience, you should be able to pick up 9 fairly easily. I don't know which one to show them. Like, I don't know which one to do. Do I go down to Silver Spoon? Do I continue up to Tokyo Ghoul? These are decisions. I'm just happy I get to show you guys this collection because it's been forever in the making. But you know what? Let's just continue. We'll do one shelf at a time. So let's go down here and talk about Silver Spoon for just a second. This is Silver Spoon. Like I've said numerous times on my channel before, if you grew up like me playing the Harvest Moon games, you're really gonna like Silver Spoon. So if you haven't checked out this absolutely classic series put out by Hiromu Arakawa, same mangaka as Full Metal Alchemist. This same mangaka as Full Metal Alchemist, which I don't own physically. I should fix that actually. I absolutely love this series. I binge read all of it except for like the last few volumes because I had to wait for when they came out. This is a beautiful series, and I don't say that too often, but this is a beautiful coming of age story, okay? And of course, there's gonna be some love interests and the friends that he makes along the way, but not only is it just a wonderful journey of what you can do and how you can change your life, especially with the settings and the people who you surround yourself with, but it's also an eye-opening experience for like the agricultural side of the food industry and like the farming side and the animal side of the food industry. It's educational, it's entertaining, and it's heartwarming. I'm gonna lie to you guys, it's a little dark. Okay, so this follows a single father, and we're not gonna talk about what happens with the mother for spoiler reasons, but this follows a single father getting to know and bond with his very young daughter over food and cooking and the trials that come with being a single father, having to work and juggle being a father at the same time. It's very interesting, and it's also a food manga, so you're gonna get some really cool recipes out of this as well. So very heart touching, but it's gonna tug on the feels. Okay, so if you're okay with that, I highly recommend Sweetness and Lightning. Okay, really quickly, let's show them. I have some manga here in the back that we should address really quickly. Now, as you can see, I am gonna have some manga on risers as time progresses. So yes, this implies I will be doing some double stacking. So back here, I have Grand Blue Dreaming, I believe all the way up to volume 14. Absolutely fantastic series and really good series to read in the summer. Another coming of age rom-com, I would say. It's almost a rom-com, really good in college setting, having to do with scuba diving. Absolutely recommend it, and it's really, really funny. Reminds me a little of GTO, at least some of the art style, and if you like GTO, you really might like this one. Now, finishing off over here, we have Livingstone, 4 volumes and done, and then we have the quintessential quintuplets. I don't have all of the volumes for them, and I stopped getting them because I was like, I'm just gonna read it digitally because I was on Twitter and I got spoiled, so I know how it ended, so it sort of killed like the buzz of quintessential quintuplets. So I'll read it all digitally, I think. I don't know if I'm going to collect all of it. I don't know. Maybe you guys can convince me down below in the comment section, but I do have some of the physical volumes, and of course the lone volume 1 of Spy Family. I will collect all of Spy Family. If you're like me, I've loved the anime, and it's been on my radar to read for such a long time, and someone actually sent me the first volume of Spy Family. So you know what? They opened that door. I'm going to walk through it. I'll definitely collect all of Spy Family. Okay, I have to get a chair. Okay, so we're gonna sit down for a second, but let's talk about Yona of the Dawn. Now, I am a sucker for a good shoujo series, and nothing hits shoujo like Yona of the Dawn. Now, this series is oddly difficult to collect right now. Don't know why, but I do have all the way up to volume 21, which I'm very grateful for because there's a lot of people that are trying to collect Yona the Dawn. This is a very good shoujo. If you're into romance and you've never heard of Yona the Dawn, let this video be a little push in that direction to look up Yona of the Dawn and check this one out. So now to complete this shelf, we're going to talk about Wotakoi, all 6 volumes of Wotakoi, and you can go on and get closer to this one. This is done. So this is volumes 1 to 6. 6 is hiding like just behind here, but this is a completed series. So I'm not quite sure how much of an introduction Wotakoi needs on this channel. It's sold over 12 million copies. It's a highly relatable rom-com about a group of adults in a corporate setting in Japan trying to hide the fact that they're otakus. And then of course there's like love interests among the group and so on and so forth. It's highly relatable, really funny, and just a heartwarming story. So I highly recommend Wotakoi, one of my favorite reads of the summer. It's been a journey to collect all of them because of the slow release schedule, but now is a perfect time to get into Wotakoi. There's a lot of stock, a lot of inventory on the market right now, so happy collecting, and let me know if you've read or collected the final volume of Wotakoi. We should probably sit down with me. We're gonna talk about Maid-sama, and this is Maid-sama Complete. I do want to reread this one. I don't know if I'm gonna reread it this summer. It might be like early next year. I don't know, but I do want to get a reread of Maid-sama in eventually. This is honestly so weird. I've never had like a helper like this for a manga collection video, and I've never sat down. I've never had a bookshelf. This is so many I've nevers in a video, so hopefully it's turning out okay. This is Snow White with red hair. I highly recommend this series. I only have 4 volumes of this one because I put more money into collecting Yona of the Dawn, but this is a very cute shoujo with yet another red hair protagonist. As you can see, maybe you can get a little closer on the spine here, but it's another protagonist with red hair. I like to say that she's trying to become a pharmacist like in medieval times. I think it's a little underrated. It might not be. I'm not too familiar with the whole shoujo world, so I don't know if it's underrated in that world, but I wish I saw this in more collections. It's honestly pretty good. And there is an anime if you'd like to get into the anime before collecting the manga. Okay, so quickly moving on, this is Fruit Basket, the collector's editions. I believe it finishes in 12 volumes. This is it in its completion. So all of them are in stock, by the way. This was very hard to get over the pandemic, but all of them should be in stock, or at least I recently saw them all in stock on Right Stuff, and I believe they're all in stock on Amazon right now, at least in the United States. So happy shopping if you've been looking for them. But this is yet again another shoujo. I feel like this is the shoujo shelf, at least a little bit. Mostly this is the whole shoujo shelf that needs no introduction, especially after the anime adaptation that finished airing recently. Okay, so quickly moving on, we're gonna pick up the pace a little bit on this bottom shelf just because I don't have a lot of experience with this bottom shelf, where this is sort of like the miscellaneous place for this entire collection that I have. Okay, so this is probably one of my favorite parts of this entire collection, and this is a little Tokyo Ghoul moment that I have, and I think it looks, and you can go ahead and get closer, I think it looks absolutely phenomenal. This, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you would know that the manga that started this all, what started me creating a YouTube channel, the first manga I ever finished completing, it just has a special place in my heart, and it had a special place in my last collection on my display stand. You would know that Tokyo Ghoul is a big part of this channel and a big part of my life. And I love, and you can come and get closer, I love how the light sort of drapes down on this Tokyo Ghoul moment. I will get all of the Tokyo Ghoul volumes, the Tokyo Ghoul re-volumes in Japanese, and that's what all of this extra room is. And check, I do have a lot of extra room both here and behind these volumes. I have my frame Snorlax here to fill up some of the space, and these are the light novels for Tokyo Ghoul, but the extra space is there for, I'll probably do a stream where I pick up all of the Tokyo Ghoul volumes in Japanese and the Tokyo Ghoul re-volumes in Japanese, and this is their home. This is where they'll go as well. And this will be an entire shelf dedicated to Tokyo Ghoul. I was so happy with this one, you guys. This took forever. This is the second iteration of this sign. The first one I ordered was a little too small, so it took forever to nail the size of this one, and pun intended, because there's nails here all over the place. But we're not gonna talk about this. All right, so now it's time to talk about Berserk. And there's gonna be a few big videos on my channel when I finally start reading Berserk. I'll probably do arc reviews. I'm not collecting the deluxes. Let me know which one you're collecting down below. Chances are you're collecting the deluxes. I personally really like the singles. I like how they read better in my hand. The big ones feel very cumbersome to me. However, the quality is very high. I like the singles, even though the spines, This is Great Teacher Onizuka. Now, this is volume 1 of the original series. So when I say Great Teacher Onizuka, you're probably thinking of this one. This is very expensive to collect in English, so I only have volume 1. But the cherry on top is that this was sent to me. This was a gift by a good friend of mine, Lunity. In fact, I'll link her channel down below. Shout out to Lunity. Thank you for sending me the first volume of this one. This series means a lot to me. I will collect all of it eventually, but it's just going to cost a pretty penny to get all of GTO the early years. I only have 1 volume of that, and a GTO 14 Days in Shonen. So this is Initial D. Now, you may have grown up with this series when watching the anime, but this is the manga. Now, I don't think all of the manga ever got released from Tokyo Pop, but I do have volumes 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 24. This is a series I do want to collect all of eventually, or at least all of the physical releases. I don't think it ever actually finished releasing physically. I'd have to read the rest of it digitally. I might be wrong on that. I don't know. Someone let me know down below. The really great thing about this one is that they are in pristine condition, and someone sent me these, okay? And I didn't know that Initial D had collector cards. They have like a trading card game, I think, or a game that you can play with cards, and some cards came in the back of manga volumes, and someone in the community actually sent me some of them in pristine condition that had some of the cards still in them. So that's amazing. First of all, that is amazing, and not to mention this is by far one of my favorite series, and it's another one of those out of print series that just, oh gosh, it's so expensive right now. Quickly, we're going to talk about Gintama. This is another one which unfortunately just the sales weren't there. It never finished getting a English release. But Viz, if you're watching this, if anyone from Viz is watching this, please, I promise you there is an audience for Gintama. Hopefully sales will do well if it ever comes back. This is the sole volume of Colorless that I own. This is a world where color has disappeared and a girl teams up with an investigator to sort of track down the last little bit of color. This has to do with mutants, mystery, action, thriller. Highly recommended. There's only 1 volume out. It's put out by 7 Seas. Yeah, definitely check this one out. You should have no issue finding this one. It should definitely be in stock, and I'm thinking we'll see it on more shelves as time progresses, but I'm interested to see where the author takes this one, because there's only 1 volume out right now, so I'm eagerly awaiting volume 2. I didn't realize how much manga I have. We've been shooting for a really long time. I didn't realize how much manga I had. It's kind of odd seeing everything I own at once. It's just making me realize like how much of a degenerate I really am. This is Steins Gate completed and Steins Gate 0, 1, 2, and 3. Udon Entertainment, thank you so much for sending me all of this. I very much appreciate it. This is by far one of my favorite series. In fact, I even bought the, what's it called? The visual novel. I bought the visual novel of Steins Gate. If you didn't know, Steins Gate is based off of a visual novel. Let's get a little closer here to Mason Ikoku. This is a rom-com that completely stole my heart. Absolutely phenomenal. Covers some pretty heavy topics we're not going to get into because those are complete spoilers of the series, but it's put out by Rumiko Takahashi, which is quickly turning into one of my favorite mangakas. Okay, really quickly, let's talk about Barakuman. Now, this is probably one of my favorite series in my entire collection, but don't go out trying to collect it right now, okay? Yen Press did say that it is going to come back in stock, so right now, if you try to go buy all of these volumes, some of them you can find and it'll be affordable, but there'll be some volumes that are very, very, very expensive, so I can't in good faith tell you to go try to collect this physically, but I can say just wait a little bit, have a little bit of patience. This is going to come back in stock according to Yen Press, which is the publisher, okay? So this is coming from good source of information. It's coming from a good source of information. This is yet another series where our main protagonist tries to escape the busy life of Japan and goes to the countryside to sort of find himself, but he is a calligrapher, a professional calligrapher, and this one is written incredibly well. I absolutely fell in love with the anime. Next, and you can come over here. Next, we're going to talk about Skullface bookseller Honda-san. Now, I believe there's only 4 volumes. This might be it in total. I've talked about this one a lot on my channel. This is a very unique manga. I recommend it to beginners. It basically follows the story of an individual who works at a manga shop in Japan and has to deal with a lot of the customers that are coming in, and it gets presented in a way where it's very educational. So if you're new to manga collecting, I've said this once, I've said it 1,000 times. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Yes, Skullface bookseller Honda-san. This would be a great place to start. Very educational, very funny. Is it going to be for everyone? No. There's a lot of people that don't like this series. I, however, do. It does have an anime. Check out the anime before you commit to buying them because these 4 volumes can get expensive. I think they're like 13 to 15 bucks, like full retail. So get them on sale. But this is a good series and I wish I saw it on more shelves. Come this way a little bit and we have Satoshi Kon's Opus. All right. Next we have Horimiya volumes 1 to 8. I cannot wait to read all of this. And then we have Yakutate Japan. This is the Food Wars before Food Wars. This is like an early 2000s version of Food Wars and I like it a little bit more. It focuses on our main protagonist who is a baker. So it's like Food Wars has to do with a lot of other food, not just bread. In fact, I don't even know, is there bread in Food Wars? I have no idea, but this one focuses on baking and it's really, really good. And plus I have such a soft spot for like the 90s art in manga or early 2000s art. I have a soft spot for that. So this is definitely, that's definitely that. So if you're into that sort of things and you like Food Wars, you've never heard of Yakutate Japan, take this video as a little push to at least check out the anime, but the manga is really cool too. And you can definitely find this completed for a pretty good deal these days. This isn't impossible to collect, so I highly recommend Yakutate Japan. Okay, come on and sit down with me. We're gonna handle the bottom shelves of this one. Now, quickly moving through this shelf, this is Zom 100, the 5 volumes of Zom 100. I believe there's 6 out right now, so I do have to get volume 6, but this is a very unique take on a zombie series. Continuing on, we have a pure action series. If you're into just heavy action tournament arcs, yeah, look no further than Record of Ragnarok. And then we have Hell's Paradise. There's an anime coming out for Hell's Paradise. You've probably heard of it before. I am so hyped for the anime of Hell's Paradise. Let me know if you are as well, but I only have the first 5 volumes. Moving on, we have Taiyo Matsumoto's number 5. This is another dystopian manga, and you're quickly gonna learn that I love the dystopian genre, sci-fi dystopian sort of vibe. I have a lot of manga and a lot of series within that realm, and yeah, number 5 is one of them. Continuing on, we have the first volume of Golden Kamui, and I can't wait to read the rest, whether it be digitally or physically. Next is the first 3 volumes of Inuyashiki. This is the same mangaka as Gantz. What I really like about this one is that our main character is like an elderly man. When does that ever happen in manga? So that was what really stuck out to me about Inuyashiki. Now I'm gonna list off some next ones here. We have Blue Period. I went to art school, so this one hits a little too close to home, a little emotionally scarring with Blue Period. I don't know if I'm gonna collect the rest of it. I've been to art school. I don't need to be that depressed again. A recent pickup. I haven't had a chance to read it, but it's All You Need Is Kill. Now, this comes highly recommended by my audience. In fact, I reached out to the people on Twitter. They definitely agreed with me. It's been recommended to me a whole bunch too, like in YouTube comments. So I knew I was going to pick this one up eventually. It's one and done from my understanding. It's based off of a novel, I believe, and it's also done by the same mangaka as Death Note. Moving on, we have Doubt. Now, this is a continuation of a series called Judge, so I do need to get Judge. At least that's from my understanding. This is a horror series. It comes highly recommended to me. In fact, this was a gift from a friend. In fact, a lot of this manga was either sent to me or they're gifts from friends. I lived a very blessed life. So if you're watching this, you know who you are. Thank you so much for this. I haven't had a chance to read it, but it is on my to read list. First 3, and you can get a little closer, don't be shy. This is the first 3 volumes of Children of the Whales. This was a gift, okay? I haven't read them, but it's been on my radar for such a long time. Eventually I will. Let me know if you have them as well. Moving on, this is Happiness. Now, this name is very misleading because it's not happy at all. This is put out by Shuzo Oshimi. A lot of people compare this to Tokyo Ghoul, and I will say the first volume definitely has some parallels to Tokyo Ghoul, especially volume 1 to volume 1, and there are some themes that you can compare the two, but this is definitely its own series in and of itself, put out by Shuzo Oshimi. Very binge readable. In fact, most people that I have put Happiness onto, they've binge read this series. You can binge read it in a night if you're really dedicated, like 100%. Okay, continuing on, we have Kaiji. This is a gambling series put out by Denpa. Highly recommend this one. Now, if you're into, what's that one series called? The gambling one? Kakaguri. No, yeah, is it Kakaguri? Yeah, I don't have Kakaguri, but this is Kaiji, and to me, I've seen the Kakaguri anime, this is the superior gambling one. We have the single volume I have of Black Lagoon. I haven't read it. I can't talk that much about it. I do want to collect the first 3 volumes of Black Lagoon before I even start this one, but I am very much looking forward to it because it's been recommended over and over and over and over again on my channel. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to starting Black Lagoon. Let me know your experience with this series because I haven't started yet and I'm very eager to start it. So I'm gonna like lay down for this one. Hi, hello. This is my light novel section. As you can see down below here, we have all of Overlord, Solo Leveling, the light novel which was sent to me. Behind here, we actually have Ascendance of a Bookworm. I highly, highly, highly recommend this series. There's a lot of content. That's kind of a trope with light novels. Let's get real. You start getting into light novels, it's like a whole rabbit hole to get into. But Ascendance of the Bookworm is probably my favorite light novel that I've read in 2022 so far. Absolutely beautiful. It's for book nerds like myself, okay? Please check it out. I've talked about it so much on this channel, I don't think I need to go into it here, but it's about a girl that goes and gets transported into another world. Of course, it's an isekai. Of course, it's an isekai, but in that world, books aren't readily available to the public. In fact, they're sort of like protected by the elite or people that are wealthy. And she goes on a mission to try to make books just available to the general public and the trials that go with that. And there's a lot I'm leaving out for spoiler reasons, but there is an anime, but I highly, highly recommend the light novels. They're so good. Now, continuing on, we have all of the Monogatari series. So this is all 3 seasons of the Monogatari series. There's a lot of volumes there. I've only read a few of them. I need to finish this one. And then over here, we have volumes 1 to 4 of the Bunny Girl Senpai light novel. So if you're like me, Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, I absolutely loved the anime and the movie when it came out, and when the light novels got announced, I quickly jumped on board with that one. So these are the light novels, and these are my entire light novel collections, okay? And I love how this one goes back a little bit and the light sort of just shines down here. At night, this looks so good. Okay. Woo. We are standing up and we are onto the final shelf, and then we'll do the box sets. Okay, so coming on over here, this is eventually going to be my Shaman King moment here. Now, Shaman King was, when I was a kid, I would read it on the floor of Borders, or at Borders, I should say. And if you know, you definitely know. Borders doesn't exist anymore, but it was a pretty popular bookstore, at least in the United States. I would like to get the singles for Shaman King, but Kodansha is releasing these omnibuses, and as you can tell, I've read it multiple times. There's some definite wear on these spines. These were actually a gift. These 2 French releases of the single volumes of Shaman King, and I thought they looked so good, so they are on display. But eventually, I mean, let's get real, I'll probably collect all of the omnibuses, but one day I would love to own all of the original singles in English for Shaman King, but that is another expensive endeavor. So come over here, and this is 20th Century Boys. I haven't opened it, but I know a lot of you guys really like 20th Century Boys. This is put out by Naoki Urasawa, one of my favorite mangakas. You've seen plenty of his work today in my collection. Fist of the North Star. This helped inspire JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And this is Noragami. I love Noragami. This is a very, very, very unique series. Absolutely loved it. There's a lot more than 3 volumes. This is going to be a whole journey to collect, and I know I'm going to need a lot of room. I don't know where this is going to go in my collection, although I am at ease knowing I have plenty of room for my collection to grow. This one's actually pretty high on the priority list for me to pick up, so don't be surprised if you start seeing more and more Noragami in my manga hauls. Now, this might be, and you can go ahead and get a close-up shot of this one, this might be one of my favorite shelves as well. I know I'm saying that a lot during this collection, but this is all of Claymore with the Claymore illustration books that come in the box set, and this is all of Dragon Ball. And I love how Dragon Ball has this little picture that fills up right here. I absolutely love that. Claymore is a series that often gets compared to Berserk. Now, there are parallels between the 2 series, but this is its own in its own right, 100% without a shadow of a doubt. I know I keep saying this, okay? I know I keep saying this. This is my favorite shelf, most likely. This is my Dorohedoro shrine. All right, so we have all of Dorohedoro all the way up to volume 23. Absolutely phenomenal. I am working on a big video on Dorohedoro. Probably my favorite read coming out of 2022, manga-wise. I do have a figure, as you can tell. I don't have a lot of figures. I have 1000 Sunny statue, and this is pretty much my only other figure, which is the Gyoza Fairy, which is a character in Dorohedoro. Then at Anime Expo here, yes, I did go to Anime Expo. Yes, the vlog is coming, so make sure you're subscribing. That is probably going to come out next week or the week after that. This is the art book for Dorohedoro. I wish I saw this in more collections. Absolutely beautiful. All in Japanese. Same with the character book for Dorohedoro. These are both in Japanese, both expensive. This one I believe is $30 $60, and this is basically $100. You might be able to find it for $80 online somewhere with a deal. So now if you come a little closer here, the only other series I'm going to put behind here is Die Dark. At least for now, there will be other dystopian stuff behind here, but Die Dark is the new manga put out by the same author as Dorohedoro. Currently there's only 3 volumes. I will get some risers so that you can see Die Dark's probably somewhere behind here, but for now it lives in the corner in the shadows behind the art book, but eventually it will have its time to shine behind there, but I do need to get more risers before I can do that. So coming down to this shelf here, this, as you can notice, is my Jump shelf, okay, my Shonen Jump shelf, except for the exception of I believe Denman Wonderland. I don't know if Denman Wonderland is Jump or not. I probably should know that. And Miss Kazumi Loves Ramen Noodles and Mob Psycho 100. This is all Shonen Jump. This is Undead Unluck. I haven't read this one, but this was a gift very recently from a friend of mine. Volumes 1 through 3. Sakamoto Days, volumes 1 and 2. Cross Game, a baseball series, volume 1. This is Omnibus, so I think this is 3 volumes in one. And then we have Chainsaw Man, part 1, completed. At the time of recording this video, I believe there's only 1 chapter of Chainsaw Man coming back. I'm excited, and we do have a huge video on Chainsaw Man. If you've been watching the channel for a while, I've been radio silent on Chainsaw Man. That's because I have a huge video on Chainsaw Man in the works, so stay tuned for that one. Then we have Yu Yu Hakusho, by far one of my favorite classic shonen series. I don't have all of it. This is kind of difficult to collect right now. I will get them all eventually. By far one of my favorite series with my favorite tournament arc in all of manga. Now continuing on, this is Burn the Witch. This is by the same author as Bleach. I do want to read Bleach. I have seen Bleach, the anime, all the way up, and finishing the Soul Society arc. When this got announced, I knew I wanted to read it. I recently picked it up and binge read it. It's in the same world as Bleach. Now, continuing on, we have Hunter x Hunter. Now, there's a lot of hype surrounding Hunter x Hunter because the manga is returning. In fact, Togashi's Twitter, with all of his little updates, I love getting them, is completely popping off. Now, I don't have all of them. I'm missing a lot of Hunter x Hunter. Eventually, I will get it, but for now, I'm content with what I have. And then, like I mentioned before, we have Mob Psycho 100 and Miss Kazumi Loves Ramen Noodles, both series I very highly recommend. Both have animes. You can start there, but I recommend the manga for both of these. Quickly go in the back, we have Denman Wonderland, we have Dr. Stone, Mashal, Demon Slayer, and A Restaurant from Another World. Now, I am going to harp on Restaurant to Another World. This is probably my favorite food anime or manga. Let's come down here. We have One Punch Man, volume 1 to 5. Cannot wait to start reading all of this one. I went from reading it digitally to wanting to collect it all physically. Forget how to say this one. I believe it's Frieren or Frieren. I believe that's how you say it. I could be wrong. Please don't quote me on that one, but I only have 3 volumes. I definitely have to get into it. It's become highly recommended from you guys to me, although I have heard it's a little bit more on the sad side of things, but it's something to get into. And then the series I'm probably most well known for talking about and getting people to read online, by far, it's Hinamatsuri. Okay, I have 14 volumes of Hinamatsuri. I love this series. Please do yourself a favor, check out Hinamatsuri. I really wish I saw this in more collections. It basically focuses on a girl, and through a series of events winds up under the care of a up-and-coming Yakuza boss, and it's a comedy slice of life where this Yakuza boss slowly starts to become more of a fatherly figure to this absolute delinquent girl, and she's a delinquent for a reason, okay? It's very, very good, but then after a while with the relationship building, there almost becomes like the roles almost reverse, where this girl slowly goes from learning a lot from this Yakuza boss to this Yakuza boss learning a lot from this girl. And it's just interesting how the dynamic of the two move forward, and the characters and the writing. It's just very hilarious. But also, don't let that deter you from like the heavy undertones that are in this series. I could talk about this all day. In fact, I have. This is probably one of the series that I've talked about the most on my channel. Do yourself a favor, check out Hinamatsuri. There is an anime. I highly recommend the anime as well. This you should have no problem finding. It's almost never out of stock, so happy collecting and happy reading. Moving on over, we have by far one of my favorite music series, and I believe there's a movie coming out of Blue Giant. This focuses on jazz. Now moving right along, we have Ajin Demi-Human. Okay, this is complete. I love this series, and the 17th volume came out not too long ago, okay? So it does complete in 17 volumes. This is a mystery comedy, action, seinen sort of thing going on. Absolutely love it. I've talked about it a lot on my channel. Okay, continuing the trend back here, I don't have any risers. I ran out of risers, so I'm quickly just going to talk about the series that I have back here. It's a lot of slice of life and also some mystery stuff, okay? So we have Laid Back Camp, one of my favorite slice of life series, absolutely adorable. Highly recommend that one. And we also have Days on Fez, which is similar to Laid Back Camp, but not so much. That one focuses more on festival scene, where Laid Back Camp really focuses on a group of friends that's going hiking and camping. But they do have some parallels, and they're both wonderful, very cozy slice of life series, okay? Moving on, we do have, what's it called? Yotsuba. Yeah, I have the first 2 volumes of Yotsuba. I'm not going to start reading this series until I have 3 volumes of Yotsuba. I like starting a series with 3 volumes. I think that's enough for a good binge read of an evening or a weekend. Next is Summertime Rendering. Now, I have the first 3 volumes of Summertime Rendering. Very, very, very interesting series. This one was sent to me by Unon Entertainment, okay? I believe you should be able to find this one in stock now, all 3 of them, although no promises on that one. But yeah, this series just came out. There's a lot of hype around this one because the anime came out not too long ago as well. I want to collect all of Natsume's Book of Friends, but I understand that's going to be that's going to be a whole expensive endeavor in and of itself. We're not going to get into that here. Blood on the Tracks, which is another Shuzo Oshimi series. That is my next Oshimi series to read. I know a lot of you guys have been trying to get me to read Blood on the Tracks. Believe me, I will do it. And then I have Gantz, some omnibuses of Gantz here. I really wish I had the singles, but that's another expensive endeavor to get into. So for now, I have the omnibuses, and then I have the first volume that was gifted to me of Fire Force. So you can see all the way back here, I do have Fire Force. Haven't read it, but that was gifted to me fairly recently, okay? All right, now let's come on down to the final shelf. We've made it to the very end. And here, behind here, I need risers, but I don't. I have all of Blade of the Immortal. This is a very, very, very good series. A classic for a reason. If you're into an old school samurai tale that has some sci-fi elements to it, look no further than Blade of the Immortal. Now, Blade of the Immortal does have very expensive but very high quality deluxe editions. I recommend going with those. I do have the paperback omnibuses, but I just have a thing for paperbacks. I love paperbacks. Now, I know I see the irony when there's a bunch of hardcovers here, but I do love paperbacks. I love reading paperbacks, and that's why I went with the paperback editions of Blade of the Immortal, but I highly recommend that series, okay? But I do have the perfect hardcover editions of Soul Eater put out by Square Enix. I do want to read all of Soul Eater. I read the first few, and then I was like, you know what? I want to binge read this series, so I'm going to put it on pause until I get all of the perfect editions. And then moving right along, I have the only Junji Ito I have in my entire collection is Uzumaki, and that's right here. I recommend this one, but it's the only one I currently own of Junji Ito. Eventually, I will buy more of Junji Ito, but that's the only one I have as of now. And if we can get a little closer here, you can see the rest of the manga that I have. I have all of Battle Angel Alita. I highly recommend all of Battle Angel Alita. There's 5 volumes. There is one more, but this is the main story. I have Knights of Sidonia, which is a very unique mech. I'm not the biggest fan of mechs, but as you can see here clearly, I'm okay with them. This is 6 volumes of Knights of Sidonia, put out by Vertical. Very good size of a manga, and it's paperback, very comfortable to read, and the art is absolutely gorgeous. And then we have Blam. I'm missing volume 3. Volume 3 is going to be very hard to find for Blam right now. You can find volume 1, volume 2, volume 4, maybe volume 5. Volume 3, for some reason, is very difficult to find. So when it comes back in stock, I will buy volume 3, and then whatever volumes are out at that time, and then do a proper binge read of Blam. Okay, so we are almost done. We're going to talk about the box sets right now. As you can see, I didn't realize how much manga I had. That took forever. Like, the sun is literally going down. We had to turn on a light because the sun is going down. We're recording for literal hours today. But we have the One Piece box set, the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, which is the new one. Then we have the Dragon Ball box sets, the Dragon Ball Z box set, Claymore box set, and then Akira. Now, I really wanted to find a place to put this on my bookshelves, but I figured, you know what, that's fine. I'm going to show you guys all of my box sets anyways. So this is the Akira Anniversary box set. Eventually, once I do a manga like shelf reorganization video, we're going to find a place to put these bad boys on the shelves. I don't know where. but we'll figure it out together. I also would like to remind you guys that I am going to Japan around October, so there's going to be a lot of vlogs and a lot of content, so make sure that you're subscribing so you don't miss out on any of those videos. Now, before I let you guys go, I would like to invite you to our Discord community. Discord community has been rapidly growing and has become home to a lot of new people. You can join the Discord by going to discord.gg/BoogieSnacks, so of course links for all of that will be down below in the description box. I am also streaming on Twitch a lot these days, so if you'd like to come hang out, I'd love to get a chance to meet you. Of course, links will always be down below, or you can go to twitch.tv/BoogieSnacksTV. All right, but I think I'm gonna let you guys go here. If you'd like to go ahead and support the channel, go ahead and mash that like button down below. It lets me know that you're watching at home and I continue to make more content just like this. And of course, as always, nothing has changed. If you'd like to stick around for more videos, go ahead and mash that subscribe button. We would love to have you in the community. All right, everyone, I am going to go read some manga. I have so much to choose from right now, and it is, honestly, I'm not even gonna read manga. I'm gonna stare at my manga collection. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna sit here and stare at my manga collection for a while. All right, I gotta go. I'll see you in the next video, all right? Talk to you soon. Bye!